Jon Jones, Daniel Cormier.
Casetta, watch this fight over and over. I was like, I'm not that excited. Jon Jones kind of dismantled DC. Not really, young Chab. Not really. Go back and watch the fight. 19-1 versus 22-0. I don't count that Matt Hamill as a loss. I refuse to acknowledge that. So Jon Jones undefeated, never been beat. He's had a couple close fights, obviously with Gustafsson. That DC fight was close. Not as close to the Gustafsson fight, but a lot closer than I thought. Here's a few things to consider in this fight. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Mm-hmm. Number one, ring rust. Jon Jones, when he fought OSP, there was some serious ring rust there. He won a decision when he should have dismantled OSP. OSP is a tough customer. He has no business being there with Jon Jones. He just doesn't. Talent-wise, you're talking about the greatest of all time. He really shouldn't be in there with him. So you have ring rust is one. Two, remember, it's in California. So the rules. Jon typically fights like this, so to keep you at bay. Remember, there's a lot of eye pokes. There's been a lot of issues with eye pokes. Now you're going to get points taken away from you. You cannot have an open hand. You have open palm. I think you do a palm, but you cannot have his hands out like this. He's going to get warned once, and then you're going to take points. So he can't be doing that anymore. You got to take that into consideration. Yeah. The other big thing is with that ring rust, if we go based off his OSP fight, he's a very slow starter. He likes to feel the lights, get warmed up, get going. DC's not. Against Anthony Johnson, comes straight forward. Against Gustafsson, comes straight forward. Against Jon Jones in that first round, he's coming, man. How's Jon? Jon's not going to have time to warm up. There's no warm up there. There's no ring rust. You're not able to feel things out because DC knows this and he's coming forward. I think DC wants to be in clinch. He had more of a success the first time they fought in the clinch with his uppercut, stuff like that. The only reason that first takedown came is because he threw that shitty Charlie Brown kick. If you don't throw that, definitely give him the first round. And I think because Jon told him in those interviews, I'm going to take you down. You've never been taken down, I'm going to take you down. And he kind of did it with that kick. I think that got DC, and then you see DC kind of trying to get that back. It flushed him. It upset him. The wrestler in him, his ego kind of took over. He got away from his game plan, and Jon started to win a few rounds after that. So the whole thing with this is what Jon Jones shows up. When people go, he's been dedicated, man. He's in camp now. He's eating his veggies, meat and potatoes. He's ready to go. God, is that the best Jon? Or does Jon need to be wild? Does he need to be out with hookers till 2 a.m. and showing up the next day, maybe a little hungover, loosey-goosey, not living all the pressure of this fight and being this creative martial artist that he is? I don't know, man. There's great musicians, and one of the reasons they're great is because they're up to 3 a.m. doing drugs, living this wild life. If you force him to live in a suit and sit at a desk, are they as creative? Nope. I think Jon's one of those guys. When I hear he's being real disciplined, and I'm not saying I want him being on drugs, stuff like that. What I'm saying is I don't know if I want him in that same category as a Sage Northcutt who's sleeping, eating, drinking, praying at night, doing everything right. That's not Jon. He's not his creative best. OSP, there's a lot of pressure. Ring rust. He had a great camp. Looked like shit. Wasn't that creative in that fight? Very predictable. For DC, again, it's just 1 foot in, 1 foot in. What DC shows up? If DC were to get finished, I would not be surprised if he retires. What's left for DC? What are you going to hang around for Jimmy Manawa? Anthony Johnson's gone. You beat Gustafsson. What the light heavyweight's just old. Go to heavyweight. Get a heavyweight, see how you do against Stipe in a super fight. Maybe take one fight against Stipe if they give you a title shot right away. Or, obviously you're never fighting Kane. Or you fight Verdum or something like that. But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. He has this flourishing career with the UFC being a commentator. He's great at it. He's working all the pay-per-views. He's working UFC tonight. What's Jon doing when he's doing all that, Jen?
I don't know.
He's training.
Sometimes.
training or partying. Doing Jon Jones.
Yeah. But
what he's not doing is traveling, doing all that. He's doing what got him to the dance, which is whatever it is that got him to the dance. With dick pills or being out 2 a.m. Either way, he's doing what made him world champion. He's not commentating. He's not traveling around the world. He's not doing all that stuff. That plays a factor, man. So with DC, what DC shows up? The odds. There's a part of me where, because let's say Jon has ring rust, it's going to take him 2 to 3 rounds to get going. Mm-hmm. DC doesn't need to get going. With his fighting style, his chin, his embrace the grind kind of mentality, I can see DC getting up 2 rounds to none. That third round's going to be key. Jon's going to make some adjustments in the third round, and then 4th and 5th, I see Jon winning. That third round is this fight. Granted, if no one gets TKO'd or finished, which I don't think is going to happen. Look at all Jon's last fights. Look at DC's last few fights. Third round's going to be the difference maker. First 2 rounds, I think DC wins with his pace, tenacity, pressure, octagon control, clinch, ring rust of Jon. So you're basically betting on that third round. Because I think what happens in that third round will predict what 4th and 5th round, which typically sways towards Jon Jones, his fighting style.
So you got Jones for sure.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I have that third round being the deciding factor. I think DC comes out with his pace, again, with his fighting style, and banking on Jon having ring rust, which is real, which we saw in the OSP fight. He hasn't fought in a long time. There's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of hostility between the two. They hate each other. Jon's in this weird frame of mind. Those first 2 rounds will be tough for Jon. Doesn't get finished, loses those first 2 rounds. That's basing off the version of DC that fought Jon that first time. If DC comes with the Anthony Johnson with the love handles and the on focus, then it's a toss up. Then Jon could win the 1 round. Maybe DC edges out the second round. Then Jon takes over 3, 4, and 5, and you don't have a close fight. DC in shape, ready to go, which he is because this is the biggest rival in the sport right now. I think DC wins the first 2 rounds. Third one depend on Jon's adjustments and his feeling out process. That third round's the big question mark here. 4th and 5th, I bet Jon wins. If I'm a betting man, at a plus 235, I'm leaning towards DC in this fight, which is insane to say. But everything that's going on with Jon, these are tough fucking fights to call, man. Who do you got?
I got DC. I don't know why, like usual. I just have DC.
You ride or die with your faves, huh?
I don't even... You know how he was? He wasn't like in the best shape against Rumble.
Yeah, with his glove handles.
And the whole towel thing that happened.
The other thing you got to remember, too, California don't play that game.
Yeah.
In New York, since it was a title fight, he did that. And remember, he missed weight and then let him come back. You know, in California, you get 1 shot. Then it's out. There's no towel. There will be no towel gate. California does not, but California's strict as fuck. The other guys cut Chael. The other guys do not play, homie. They do not want to mess around in California. Probably the strictest there is.
And if that happens, that screws Jon too, because
no title on that. Yeah, it's all gone. He'll make DC make weight.
But yeah, he didn't. He wasn't. He looked like crap. Remember,
DC looked like pure shit. I think I'd text you.
But then afterwards,
kind of muffin top.
Yeah. Afterwards, I was like, wow, I was super impressed about how he handled Rumble. So I don't know.
Let's talk about a Rumble who shit his pants, didn't want to fight in there, started wrestling DC for God's sakes.
But yeah, the layoff, all that stuff. I don't know. That's why I take DC.
Talking about, to me, Jon Jones pound for pound greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Long layoff though. First 2 rounds, I don't think if I'm DC, I go, you push the pace, you get in his face, embrace the grind. Let's get up 2 rounds. That third round's gonna be a bitch. Let's try and win that. 4 and 5, we can get our rest in, just don't get finished. And you win 3 rounds of 2.
It's fun, right? Because it's like...
It's such a fucking tough pick. But yeah, because what Jones shows up, which DC shows up. But as a huge underdog, I can see DC winning. Those first 2 rounds, I see him getting out top. Third round's a huge question mark. 4 or 5 just don't get finished. You win the fight 3-2. I hate making this pick, but god damn it, obviously I have to give you guys a pick. God, so much is on the line for Jon Jones in there.
For both, I think.
Is there for DC?
Because I think...
It validates him if he wins?
Yes. He this entire time, I feel like he himself feels like, crap, I'm really not the champion. He's convincing himself that he is, but he knows deep inside that he's really not until he beats Jon.
Correct.
So I think this is huge for both of them. This is where Jon turns his life around, you know?
Does he?
Well, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, does he?
But no.
Whoo!
That's what makes this so much fun.
It does. Again, if I'm a better man, I go DC. But the smart choice would be Jon Jones. My analysis on it is, though, DC in pure DC form gets out 2 rounds. That third round's huge X factor. 4 or 5, Jon wins. That third round's gonna be everything. Make your decision from there.